Today on Locked On Red Wings, penalties and a poor first period doom the Detroit Red Wings as they see their 5-game winning streak snapped in Buffalo.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Well, the Red Wings are not going to go 81-1. They do see their winning streak snapped on the road in Buffalo. Now they fall to 5-2 as they lose 4-2 against the Sabres. And of course, we'll give you all of our post-game reactions here on this episode, as well as a game preview of the New York Islanders, because they got to wash the taste of this loss right out of their mouth as they get right back to it in Long Island tonight.
Your favorite
by
team.
the time you're listening to this. Oh, maybe I'm thinking they're going to have a little bit of a different identity now. I got a gut feeling. I have a feeling that things are changing.
I think that's more
in
of
Buffalo.
you hoping than
it's definitely
actually
hopium.
Thinking that.
I'm huffing the hopium, as the kids say. Do they still say that, or am I already like a year back?
No, you're totally washed, but that's fine.
Okay. Do I have unk status? Scotty, before we get to that, I gotta let the people know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Speaking of unk status, Scotty, did you see that video? Speaking of unk status, a sentence I never thought I'd say. Did you see that video the Red Wings put out with the 3 rookies, where it's MBN, Finnie, and ASP, and they're asking them all questions about each other, and Casper was the certified unk in that video, literally a sophomore season. I just thought, I love videos like that, first of all, because it gives us, more player personality. Mm-hmm. But the social team has a pretty good sense of humor. But
yes, no, we have one of the best social teams in the game. I have always believed that.
They're very fun. Scotty, let's get to the game though. Red Wings lose 4-2 in Buffalo, and it was not a great game. I've seen worse games from Detroit, but they didn't really ever establish their game in my eyes. Felt like they were pretty consistently playing a step behind and always reacting, never proacting, chasing the game, as Todd McClellan would say. What's your difference maker in this winning streak snapping loss?
There you go. You got it out. So honestly, this is going to sound weird because it ended up at the end of the first period. It was 0-0, and technically you're still, clean slate. You still got a chance to go even take a lead, which they did obviously in the second period. But I really think the first period set the tone for the entire game. And so my difference maker is going to be the first period, despite the fact that no goals were scored for either team. You had a penalty kill 30 seconds into the hockey game. So immediately you're playing on your back heels. Then you have another one just a minute or two after that one ends. And next thing you know, you've gone 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of the hockey game, the Wings had 0 shots on net. They literally did not record their first shot on net until, the 9:45 mark in the first period. So I think that despite the fact that technically they were, again, still in it and whatnot, it just felt like they were playing catch up the rest of the game and were just behind. And even when they scored to take the lead, it was okay, that's great. They're getting shots on net now. They're getting an opportunity, right? That was kind of a puck just is in front of the net, push it in type of goal. But it still led to Buffalo was still getting a lot of chances. They were better in the second period, obviously, and it went into the third, a tied hockey game. But it just felt like that really set the tone for the entire night. And I feel like they were just kind of playing on their heels all game because of the start of the game, even if it wasn't, a dramatic scoreboard of a first period.
4 of the first 5 minutes of this hockey game, the Red Wings spent shorthanded because the first penalty got taken 30 seconds into the game, and so that expired with.
And how different is this game if you have a normal amount of shots in the first 10 minutes of the game or just the first period in general, right?
It's not even so much the shots, right? It's just being able to start the game on your right foot, and having back-to-back penalty kills you.
Right.
And the penalty kill was great in this game. They ended up going 4 for 5. They tested it too much in this game, eventually gave up what became the game-winning goal in the third period on the power play. But they went 4 for 5, and they kept Detroit in this hockey game. But you're right. The two consecutive power plays for Buffalo kind of allowed Buffalo to gain the momentum early, putting Detroit on their heels, from which they recovered kind of in the second and third period. They had better second and third period for sure. I don't think they were getting dominated, but I don't think they were carrying the play either. They always felt kind of out of sync, and while it was better in the second and third, the first period, like you put, was really rough for Detroit. They just didn't have a shot on net until halfway through the first. It was a struggle all through the game, but that first period certainly set the tone, and that kind of leads to my difference maker, which is tangential from yours. It's penalties. You can't expect to win a hockey game when you take 5 penalties. Now, that hook on JVR was weak. That second one in the first period was a little bit of a weak power play, or penalty rather, and Mickey called it out. Kulich kind of grabbed the stick there of JVR, but the reason why that penalty is taken is because of the fact that you're tired. And this is kind of my point here. Like, you can kill off penalties, but when you're playing on the penalty kill, you're putting your best penalty killers out there, who very frequently are also your best players, because that's just how special teams usually works out. You're putting them in a situation where they have to defend hard for 2 straight minutes, 1 minute on and 1 minute off with the other penalty kill unit, and then you're tired. And so when you're tired, you struggle to get out of your zone. When you struggle to get out of your zone, you're chasing. And when you're chasing, you get desperate. And when you're desperate, you take more penalties. And that was kind of the rinse and repeat cycle we saw throughout the game. The Red Wings, because they were on their back heels early, never really recovered enough to establish their game, were constantly behind the pace, and then taking bad penalties as a result. Teams that have the puck a lot frequently don't take penalties. Now, that's not always the case. You get overly aggressive teams like the Florida Panthers, who are very penalized, but they make up for it by just bullying you regardless. So if you want to take fewer penalties, you need to have the puck on your stick more. And it was just a vicious cycle, kind of catch-22 in this hockey game, the Red Wings weren't able to get out of. And so that's why, for me, Scotty, while it's similar to yours, penalties for me were the main reason why the Red Wings lost this hockey game.
Yeah, man, 5 penalties is a lot, and especially, as you mentioned, 2 in the first 5 minutes of the game is just brutal. You don't allow yourself a chance to get going. You don't allow yourself, any offensive opportunities really in that time span either. And that's, that's again only 2. That's not even half of the penalties they ended up taking in this game. So, man, like it's, I think they kind of work hand in hand a little bit, right? You got off to a slow start because of some penalties that you shouldn't have been taking, and now we find ourselves here.
Right. And of note, too, like we're talking about, the penalty kill obviously was good again in this hockey game. They were, 13 for 13. Hadn't given up a power play goal since the first game of the season before the dam finally broke, and they tested it a little bit too much in the third period. But of note, I feel like the power play hasn't been quite the same recently either. And obviously there was the loss of Kane, but even before Kane, I feel like it's been a few games since we've seen a power play goal. They didn't get an opportunity in Edmonton, but in this game they felt kind of disjointed as well. Kind of just a continuation of what we saw at 5-on-5, where they just didn't really get a ton of chances on the man advantage. Sure. But I just kind of want to mention that too, that the power play, they're not in the cold category yet, but it's become something that I'm kind of just keeping my eye on going forward.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I also think, we can head to a break and just kind of transition into notable performances, but we literally talked about finishing yesterday too, and I think that could also be a difference maker in this game. If you have you have 2 breakaway goals and you got 2 breakaway goal opportunities and 0 goals in the game, and then you lost by 2. So I think that's another thing that we can talk about. Sure
thing, Scotty. Let's head to a break then, and we will pick that back up on the other side. Stay tuned. What?
Sure thing.
Segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. You've probably heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rouette comes in. Rouette offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rouette makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, and no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rouette.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your first order. That's Rouette, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know we sent you. Rouette, stop making excuses and start making moves. Just like you should be making a move on FanDuel because the NFL season is here and they have an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You're going to love FanDuel because it gives you so many ways to play. You can build parlays, try player props, and even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Sure thing.
Sure thing. Scotty, why don't you pick us up where we left off in segment 1?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, sure thing. I think that really, again, one of the biggest factors in this game was also the lack of finishing. You had Dylan Larkin, who had a 1-on-0, like the definition of a breakaway, got really fancy with it, and then, gets brick walled. And so you're like, okay, well, there goes that opportunity. And I think it actually, Kasper's was before, I think that happened. Anyway,
Kasper's was first, yes.
Yeah, Marco Kasper had a breakaway opportunity as well and just held on to the puck too long in his instance and just couldn't get it over the pad. So, yeah, I mean, that's, again, something we talk about a lot. And that's only 2 glaring examples because they were literal 1-on-0 breakaways that probably you should have at least gotten 1 goal out of. But that doesn't even account for, DeBrincat. A few opportunities in this game, doesn't put the puck in the back of the net. Like there's just, Raymond's clearly playing hurt, which like he kind of needs to, but like clearly is. Kane isn't in the lineup. Like it's just the finishing. I think it is fair to bring that up. Now on yesterday's show, we were talking about how they're still getting opportunities at least, and you're hoping, kind of the floodgates open eventually and some of those opportunities start falling. This game, you didn't even get opportunities the first half of the hockey game, you could argue, and then it started picking up eventually, and then you were right back where you started when you were getting opportunities and not finishing. So give and take, whatever you want to say, but I do think that continued to bite them in the rear today.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to bring up, and to branch off that, the second line has got to wake up a little bit here.
Sure.
Larkin obviously didn't score on his breakaway, but he did contribute on the stat sheet. He gave a nice primary assist on Emmitt. Finnie's goal, secondary assist went to Lucas Raymond, who back-to-back games where he's played hurt. He's got 3 points, I believe, in 2 games since he's come back. So Lucas Raymond, even not at 100%, is still contributing on the stat sheet. Dylan Larkin's now running a 7-game point streak. Like, offense has to come from elsewhere on the stat sheet. And, we did get a little bit of that with JT Compher getting his first goal of the season, assisted by Berggren and Johansson. But that second and third line have just not been providing a lot of offense. And I think this was maybe the worst I've seen that second line play. They were pretty much invisible out there. And for the line that's going to get a lot of minutes, you need more production. And DeBrincat obviously had a lot of good opportunities in this hockey game. And at a certain point, like, it's okay, we're back to snake-bitten DeBrincat, where he has a great chance in Colton Ellis making his NHL debut. Because, of course, this is how it always happens with a goalie making their NHL debut. It's not just against the Red Wings, right? Like, it feels like whenever a goalie makes their NHL debut, they just, I mean, look at the reverse happened last season. Sebastian Cossa came in, made his NHL debut in relief of, was it Talbot or Lyon against the Sabres, and then they go on to come back and win in a shootout. It feels like whenever you get a rookie goalie in net making their debut, magic happens. And Colton Ellis played phenomenal in this game, made a huge blocker save on DeBrincat and 2 huge breakaway saves on Casper and Larkin. So definitely flowers where flowers are due for Colton Ellis. But yeah, the finishing's huge. The second line's got to wake up. I feel like they weren't really factors. And in fact, I would almost argue they were not, what's the opposite of a factor? A non-factor, I guess, in this game, because Marco Casper had a very poor back check on the second goal against, where he just glided past the player carrying the puck. I think that was Jack Quinn on that one, who then passed it to Kozak, where then ASP did not cover Kozak properly. So if Casper, I'm sure he's tired at the end of his shift, but you got to give that extra effort. You got to move your feet and try to prevent that player. He just kind of made a drive-by. So the second line was absolutely a non-factor. And when you have a banged up Lucas Raymond, no Patrick Kane, offense has to come from more than just Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, they need just from anywhere would be great.
Right.
from literally anywhere outside of Dylan Larkin or the power play. And I guess to your point, even the last couple of games, they haven't even really got the power play. So, yeah, man, I mean, you see every team in the NHL deals with injuries and whatnot. And obviously, you know, the power play is better with Kane on it. And obviously the top line is better when Raymond's fully healthy. But every team deals with that. Like, you got to find a way, and ultimately. Right. And I think that this is the first time where I feel like they are deep enough to where it is fair to expect or demand, maybe is the better but more aggressive word, that they continue to produce offensively, even with 1 or 2 guys not at 100% or out of the lineup. Like, I feel like they still have the personnel where that should be like not super far-fetched and like impossible. And today it just kind of looked like it was.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a operative word there that's so important to keep in mind. Today, they're 5-2, right. So obviously, I don't think they're as good as they were.
Right, I am not like I will lose no sleep over this. They were on a 5-game winning streak, man. Like 6-game winning streaks don't happen very often.
Right,
we're okay. You just
got
to get back on the horse.
Part of this too is playing on the road, right? Matchups are different, and that's something that's more on Todd McClellan than anything like that. This is where coaching is going to come in real big time, because he's got to be able to know when to deploy certain lines, because the home team is going to get the last change. And you think about the other game that the Detroit Red Wings played poorly in, although they did steal the win, that was in Toronto. So only a 2-game sample size, so not a lot to like say I'm worried about nearly as of yet. But just something to keep a note on is that through 2 games on the road, the Red Wings have played pretty poor, but they're lucky enough that in the first game, Cam Talbot went God mode and stole them the win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's something to keep in mind too. But I mean, again, everything that we said in this game is completely valid. Pat ourselves on the back, I guess. I don't know. That sounded weird when it came out of my mouth. But like the real complaints, the real criticisms from a 1-game sample size. But I'm not super worried about the fact that they're 5-2, right? I'm not worried that they're 5-game losing. Of course, it sucks you lost to a beatable Buffalo Sabres team,
for sure.
But that's kind of stuff. You just also beat 4 of the best teams in the NHL, plus Montreal, who's a playoff team.
Right. So I think the 1-game sample size stuff is just, you complain about it and then move on. The things that you harp on are the things like the finishing and like the depth that you have serious, you know, maybe longer term concerns about, right? Like that's the stuff that matters in these conversations. That, like, they're not going to start off on the penalty kill for the first 4 minutes of you know, maybe a game the rest of this entire season. So like that stuff is, you know, it is what it is. It's frustrating, and move on. Yeah,
I also think that Edvinsson and ASP kind of got bullied in this hockey game a little bit.
Started off the penalty parade too, So
right. So I think that's, again, more part of the growing pains that we're going to see out of a young rookie and a young pair at that. So, again,
That's
not
the
sounding
thing, dude. Like, ASP's the young rookie, and it's like, oh, he's going to go through growing pains. Edvinson's still going through growing pains. Edvinson's been in the NHL for a year. Like, he's not like a finished product by any means either. So yeah,
both.
Like you just got a young duo there.
Both, I think it was both Raymond and Sider's most difficult years were their second year in the NHL. It may have been Sider's third year. I can't remember which one
it was. Both of them.
Before
Cider,
he
whatever.
Not that Cider had. There's a little bit more to that conversation because he was given such difficult deployments.
There's nuance there,
because there was nobody else. But Raymond, came down to the low 50s. I think his second season, high 50s, whatever. He dipped a little bit in the second year of his NHL career.
That's where we had comments, I remember, of like Raymond sucks, like he's a bust, like not gonna, like whatever.
Yeah.
Because
then he came back 8 pounds heavier and scored 30 plus goals.
Right.
So. Not worried about it yet, but again, their performance is something to be of note. We're gonna head to another quick break. When we return, we kind of blew past the Compher and Emmitt Finnie goals. Just quickly give them their flowers for scoring in these games. Talk about Gibson really quick, and then we'll move on to previewing the New York Islanders. So stay tuned to segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer for your favorite team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's the ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets, easy and stress-free. I've used Game Time a lot recently for grabbing tickets to games and concerts. Most recently, I bought tickets to the Sergei Fedorov retirement night, so you'll see me there come January. And Game Time made it easy. Game Time had their zone deals, which showed me the cheapest seats in each individual section that were available, so I got a great deal on where we're sitting. And then also there's the no hidden fees at checkout. So you just turn that toggle on, and the price that you see is the price that you get when you go to checkout. Those two things alone were enough to sell me on using Game Time. And it's what I've been using exclusively since I heard about it on this podcast. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. What's wrong?
You knew it, dude. You knew it. We came back from break and you were already laughing. You knew that I was going to be on you about it. And that just made me completely lose composure because you knew it was coming and you still did it.
I just know. We're synced up at this point. We've been doing this for too long together. Scotty, the NBA.
The NBA.
I missed that. The NBA. I remember that.
Which is back, by the way. Pistons 0-1.
Well, Red Wings were 0-1. Then they went 5-1. Now they're 5-2. Tigers started 0-3, and then they ripped off like 5 straight wins. So, yeah.
They also lost every game the last month of the season. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm trying. Why are you being I'm trying to be glass half full right now and talk about how teams that dropped their first game or first series go on a hot streak right after that. And here's Scotty going, well, the Tigers suck.
Because I talk about them every day.
Why don't you talk about how the Tigers are going to trade Tarek Skubal? I'm sure people want to hear that.
Trust me, we have talked about that for 8 episodes in a row already, and we're not even to November, so it's going to be a long off season.
Well, thankfully you have Red Wings hockey to talk about. Although it was a loss. Just really quick, wanted to circle back. JT Compher did get his first goal of the NHL season. It's a little bit of a broken play, but when you throw pucks on net and you go to the net, good things happen. Jonathan Berggren, I'm still trying to get better at saying Jonathan, not Jonathan, because they changed it, and I just keep defaulting back to that Swedish pronunciation. Jonathan Berggren got his first point of the season on that goal. Albert Johansson got a primary assist as well. JT Compher went to the net, banged home the rebound. Not a lot to break down otherwise, besides just good to see the depth provide a goal.
Yeah, and again, that is I think that is the silver lining that we talked about yesterday and that we hope continues, right? Is that, even if they aren't finishing, at least getting opportunities and, get pucks deep, baby. Get pucks deep.
We saw a little bit of finishing in this game as well, as Emmitt Finnie scored his third goal of the season, third in 2 games on that beautiful feed from Dylan Larkin. Hey, it was a little bit of a stretch, but I wanted disgusting. That 6 segue. You loved it.
That was just awful.
I love all the Finnie puns on social media. The Finsanity, Fintastic, Absolute Finema.
Absolute Finema is crazy.
Absolute Finema.
Absolute Finema.
But yeah, it was nice to see the rookie score again, put himself in the right position. Dylan Larkin did a lot of the legwork on that. It was a great play by Larkin. A little bit of a head shake to get down low and the feed through the middle. But just wanted to circle back on that, give them their props. Scotty, John Gibson, what do you make of his performance? This was, I think, his 3rd straight game. I imagine we get Cam Talbot tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't a fantastic performance by any stretch, but at the same time, the team in front of him was not doing him very many favors either. The only one that really frustrated me from just his perspective is the last one. That was just a total softie that kind of squeaked through the 5-hole, but. I mean, yeah, none of them were I'm not going to go to bat for them. None of them were great, but at the same time, the team in front of them was didn't do him any favors, and B, were kind of on their heels the entire first 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, see, I thought Gibson played fantastic until that 4th goal, the Josh Doan goal. That was a weak one, and you know how it is with goaltending. You let in one weak goal in a hockey game, you lose. People are going to say you had a bad game. And it was a weak goal. I'm not going to defend that. That was one that Gibson should have had and probably wants back. It just squeaked through his 5-hole on kind of just, it was a good shot, but still one that he saw and one that got through and spot on him that he's going to want to have covered 9 times out of 10. So I thought he played well up until that moment. But still, you got to have that last one. But I will also say that was an extended period, an extended shift in the defensive zone where he had made multiple saves. Red Wings could not get it out. It felt like unrelenting pressure from Buffalo, and that's where it comes back to, again, the team really struggled to establish their game, kind of circling back to the start of the episode. So that doesn't happen if the Red Wings don't fail to get it out 5 times.
Right.
So, Scotty, any other thoughts on the Buffalo game, or you want to move on to New York?
No, we can move on. Just... Again, I saw people that were like, "Oh, how do you beat all these good teams and lose to Buffalo?"
It's hockey.
Is this the first time is this your first time here? That's how hockey works. It's how sports work. And
right.
They weren't going to go 81-1. So Buffalo's not I'm not going to go to bat and say Buffalo's some great team, but it's not a gimme game either. They still have high-powered scores on offense, like we talked about yesterday, and the Wings struggled, but you get back on the horse, and you're 6-2 with a win on Thursday. So,
and the chance to right the ship the very next night in New York. Islanders are 3-3 to start the season, 7th in the Metropolitan Division. Scotty, they are the epitome of a 500 hockey team. They're so 500 that their Corsi for percentage is exactly 50%. They're 17th in the league, 275 shot attempts for, 275 shot attempts against that 5-on-5. The definition of mid so far early in the season. But they do have the number 1 overall pick on their hockey team in Matthew Schaefer, and he does lead them in points, 7 points in 6 games. To an extent, I'm actually impressed with how well he's performed because obviously he was a number 1 overall pick, but he wasn't touted as a generational prospect, So a lot of the times you see these first overall picks that aren't touted as generational prospects, they kind of struggle at first. So seeing him off to a hot start, I'm sure, is easing the minds of a lot of Islanders fans despite the slow start for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, and like you said, I think they might be amidst a little bit of a culture shift because of him, really. Not to put it all on one guy, but they they've just played this suffocating low event hockey for so long. And I think now that they actually have somebody who might be able to produce some offense on a, consistent or even high powered clip, that can really, spark a change in terms of X's and O's. So, I mean, this is very far from a gimme game. Like this is a team that, as you said, is the definition of mid so far. But they're a team that I think most people have pegged for, kind of a middle of the pack, maybe lower middle of the pack team throughout the course of the season. So not a like guaranteed get right game, but an opportunity to be a get right game if you play like you did before Buffalo.
They are riding a little bit of a hot streak, though. They started the season 0-3. Now they've won 3 straight and have gotten back to 3-3. So don't underestimate, just like Buffalo, as fans and as players, which they know. I don't have to tell them. They know this already. But as fans, we can't underestimate the New York Islanders either. They may be the definition of mid, but even mid can go on a hot streak, as we know, because the Red Wings went on 2 7-game winning streaks last season.
Right.
So their expected goals for percentage, however, though, Scotty, is pretty low in the league. They're actually 29th in the league expected goals for. So that kind of indicates to me that they're throwing the puck at the net a lot, which is not like what the Islanders usually do, going back to my hopium at the start of the show. But they're not really getting quality chances. They're not generating quality opportunities. And their PK is ranked 22nd in the league right now at 73%. Again, small sample size. Only 6 games in the books for that team. But if you can get to the power play, this would be a great opportunity for the Red Wings to right the ship power play-wise, take advantage of a penalty kill that's struggling in New York, and get right back in the win column.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Then don't. We're going to do another...
Talbot?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's... If I was a betting man, I would take Talbot, and the odds would be terrible because it's like a near lock. Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
We do ball. We'll be back with another game recap tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Same time.
And another preview.
Oh, hockey's back, baby.
Same
time, same place. It's your team every day.